the wall. You good.
Hey everyone, it's the girl Arthur Pamela J. And we here live on the wall. Hold on. Corey, hold on a minute. Okay, guys, we are live on the wall, and I have the founder himself right now. He's calling me right now, live call from Sing Sing Correctional Facility. I have none other than Spank Peso on the line. Spank, I want you to talk to the people and let them know why you came up with this concept of the wall. So Spank, here they go. You on?
Well, basically, I just wanted to give us a voice to be heard, because we kind of been like the lost, the forgotten, and it's basically a whole nother culture, a whole different world behind the walls of prison that a lot of y'all out there don't know about. And I just want our voices to be heard. That's pretty much what it was about. And I hope y'all listen and understand our stories. Everybody is not. We all make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? And we is. You know what I'm saying? We just need the support, the love. You know what I mean? We're trying to get out. It's a lot of talent. It's a lot of intelligent brothers behind these walls that it's just a whole different culture.
So, Mr. Spank Peso, could you share with them how long have you been incarcerated?
I've been in prison now 24 years. I came to prison when I was 19. I'm now 43. I'll be 44 in November. And I'm fighting for my freedom.
Okay. And in your experience, could you just give us a little bit of what it's like to be behind the wall? Like, what is it? We can't imagine what you guys go through, but what advice would you give to a young person, like, not to go to prison? Like, that's not the place to be.
Well, it's definitely not the place to be. I mean, like, you basically suffering in here, man. It's like torture. I mean, these officers, especially in the jails like Sing Sing and Green Haven, where it's a predominantly Black and Spanish officers working here, you would think that they understand us better than some white folks up in these mountains, but they treat us worse in some sense. You know what I mean? Like the food they feed us is garbage. This corona, how they handling this coronavirus in here is it's like inhumane, man. I mean, they in here all huddled up, no masks on, talking, but they putting all these rules on us to have masks on and the social distance. They keeping us away from our families. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with.
And on that particular thing, is it depressing? I mean, being that you're already there and you can't see your families, how are you guys handling it? Like, is it really hard? I mean, are they giving you some type of compensation, or they, allowing y'all more phone calls, or, how is it with the emails or the mail system? How is all of that,
Well, and this block right here, B block of St. St. is 68 cells on each company. There's 10 companies. So that's 680 prisoners, and it's only 23 phones in the yard.
Wow.
Everybody's trying to speak to their family. It's kind of like impossible for that to happen, So the police is running the phones, giving everybody like 10 minutes, and it's just bad. Man, we can't see our kids, we can't hug our families. It's been a year now since I kissed my wife. Like, I don't get it, man. It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with.
And speaking on Corona real quickly, how was the situation with the mask? Are they allowing your family members to send you disposable masks, or how are you guys getting the mask, or are they, what are they doing?
Okay, well, they're giving us these masks that's, it's cloth. It's like made out of I would say like a t-shirt, but they're giving it to us. They're giving us 2 at a time, and that's like we get 2 maybe every 2 months, month and a half, whatever. I mean, it's hard to keep clean. They white. You know, when you wash white, you start looking dingy. Even if it's clean, it just looks dingy. But it's no hand sanitizer, you can't social distance in prison. Prison is built to confine as many people as you can in one small place. So there's really no way we can social distance in here. Like right now, just being on the phone, I can hear the person in front of me and behind me conversation as if I'm on the phone with them. It's so close.
So it's not 6 feet in distance. So there is no social distancing, basically.
No social distance, man, at all.
Okay. One more question. Anybody have questions for him? KP, Roxy, any questions?
I do. I have a question for you, Corey. How you doing, Corey? This is Roxy. How are you?
How you doing? I'm all right.
All right. I got a question for you. How about what is the honor block? How much social distance they have in there? Do you know of that? That's where my house is.
No, I'm not familiar with the honor block here, but I'm pretty sure the way the cells is built the same way in each block. The only difference about the honor block is that they get to come out and have gallery rack. So they amongst each other, they got their own yard. They don't really have to be around the whole population because they got their own little situation. But the social distance, there's no social distance nowhere. Nowhere in this prison. So for the prisoners, for the officers, right now as I'm in this yard, I'm watching, I'm counting. I can count 5 officers by the officer booth. They just sitting there talking. We got 3 on the side of me sitting there talking, and nobody's wearing masks. It's hot now.
Wow.
So the mask kind of makes you sweat a little bit. So they're not even wearing them.
So are they telling you that you have to get the COVID shots or the COVID vaccines and stuff? Are they trying to make that mandatory for you guys?
Well, no, it's not mandatory as of yet, but they if you could volunteer for it if you want to take it, they will give it to you. But right now they trying to target the older gentlemen, like the 50s and 60-year-olds, because
that's my
able
husband.
to contract the virus easier.
That's my old husband. Hold on.
I'm not taking.
That's my category.
I don't know what they're in here doing, what they're in here giving us.
Right.
My wife a nurse. She told me don't do it.
I know.
I ain't doing it.
That's right. That's right. Well, listen. She knows what she's talking about. Schooling me too. Schooling me.
Yeah. All right, Spank. You have any shout outs, anything you would like to say to anybody right now?
Well, I want to I'd like to shout out everybody that's behind these walls in prison. Stand up, stay 10 toes down. They can trap your body, you can't trap your mind. Freedom is a must.
Okay.
Definitely want to shout out my wife, Miss Pamela, the OVG. Couldn't do it without you. I appreciate you, baby. I love you.
I love you too.
I appreciate y'all as well.
Mark, you want to shout out Mark?
Yeah, Mark, shout Mark out. I forgot about the guy. Yeah. That's pretty much it. But they running me off the phone now.
All right. Well, I thank you, Mr. Spank Peso, the founder of the Wall Magazine, and the whole thing that he just did. We want to thank you for calling in tonight on our first show. You made history, so we thank you for calling in and giving us a little insight. So we're gonna
good talking to you, Corey.
Roxy says good talking to you, Corey.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
And KP2 Right said it's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure as well. Have a good night. Enjoy the show. I hope everybody's on that. Real talk. The wall is serious. Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Okay, guys.
Don't be muting us with the gushy stuff. We want to hear the ending too.
I can read lips.
That was great. I mean, he called right in on time.
Yeah.
He didn't know I was going to set him up to do that. Right now, we got Jolene Rush. She's about to come on, and that's our first guest. I want to thank again Spank from he called. An amazing woman. She's a mother. She's a wife. She's an advocate for her husband. Her name is Jolene Russ, and I'm gonna bring her up now. Jolene, unmute yourself. Thank you for being our first guest on the Women of the World and Making History. How are you doing this evening?
Hey, y'all, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. I didn't know we was doing video. I thought this was radio, so I didn't get camera ready. My bad, y'all.
That's a cute picture of you and your husband, though. It's okay. It's okay.
Yes, that's our like public picture. That was on a whole bunch of stuff for his clemency this past year. So that's when we kind of made public.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been applying for clemency for 5 years.
Wow. Okay. And speaking on that, can you explain what clemency really is? Because a lot of us do not know what that is.
Okay, so let's see. My husband, he's been inside 20 years. May will be 21 years. He's sentenced to a 40 flat, so he's not eligible for any kind of release until 2034. So the only kind of hope for early release is clemency. And clemency in New York comes in 2 different ways. It's a pardon or it's a commutation. And what we're applying for is a commutation. A pardon normally comes like after you've been home, you've done some good works or whatever, they'll expunge your record. Or they can make other kinds of agreements, blah, blah, blah. But with a commutation, they'll typically shorten your sentence and let you go home early. So that's really what we're working for, because he's done everything. Like he really has nothing left to do inside the prison other than time.
Okay. All right. And so, how do you is it an application for the clemency, or what do? You just write your congressman? Like how does the process start?
Well, the only person that can, it's the sole decision of the governor. So you have to like if you go on the website, the bare minimum you have to do is write to them and ask them for clemency. It doesn't give you like a process. It doesn't give you an application. And even after you apply, there's no accountability. There's no checks and balances. They don't communicate with you. They don't tell you the status of your application. It's just kind of like, send us your paper and wait, and maybe someday you'll hear something. Wow. So it's really like, it's all done in real secrecy. There's no real know-how on how to do it. Like, and even the people that have received it, it's so hard to get a hold of them and like figure out how they did it. And everybody does it different. So like this year, a little bit different. We're gonna, instead of being real public with it, we're just trying to get in certain senators' ears, certain assembly people's ears, and see if they'll support us. But it's such a political process. It really is.
Okay. All right. So what's the website? Can you tell them the website? Somebody just text me. What's the website to go to get the process on clemency?
Yeah, if you type in, well, let me get you the exact website, but it's New York State, like the governor, it's on the governor's website. I'm gonna get it for you. On the governor's website. But also, RAP, Release Aging People in Prison, that's like an advocacy group that does a lot of work around clemency. They have a page called CuomoLetThemGo.com. And on there, you can put, like, if you have a pending clemency application, if you're doing work for your, like, trying to advocate for your family member to get clemency, you can put your stuff on there and they'll help publicize for you.
And when you, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
When you say do work for your loved one with the clemency, what do you actually have to do? Like, some people really don't know, like for myself, I really don't know where would I start to that process for my husband. Like, I'll go there, right? And then I'll start just advocating for him, like going around, talking to the different senators about him, about his case, why he should get clemency. Should he write his family members right? Do you get other people to write letters for them? Like, what do you have to do?
Yeah, so we did collect, see, like I said, we've been doing this for 5 years. So the very first year, we got a letter when he had reached 17 years, because you can't apply until you get 50% of your minimum in. So once we reached 17 years, he actually received a letter from the Clemency Bureau saying, you were recommended for clemency. Please send us this. Yeah, please send us this form. And like that, and that form was to enroll for a pro bono attorney. And then they asked us also to send us like any kind of pertinent information about us. So we got together like 50 different letters of recommendation. They really like to get them from like community members. So like we got one from our city councilman. We got one from the area chapter NAACP that we do work with. We got some letters from like people that he went to school with, people that have like a lot of people that have seen his growth, people that knew him back in the day that know him now and have really experienced his like journey of rehabilitation.
Okay. And when you say his journey of rehabilitation, what type of rehabilitation did you see, or what did he receive, or did he do this on his own, or was the facility helpful in the rehabilitation? Did they, like?
Well, I mean, prison doesn't really rehabilitate a person. It just offers you a bunch of tools that if you want to rehabilitate yourself, they're there for you. So like, as soon as he got to prison, he got hit with his actual charge is for his actual sentence is 49 years. So when you're 24 years old, 25 years old, and you're sitting in a prison cell thinking about, I got 49 years to serve, you're not trying to get in no more trouble. Like, you don't want to keep screwing up. You want to learn how to live better so you don't keep experiencing this same. So even if he was to win his appeal or whatever, he don't have to worry about coming back to this environment. So he really hit the ground running. He picked up all the tools around him. He got involved in every program he could. So he did the first program he got involved in was AVP because it was voluntary. Because a lot of programs aren't available to people unless they're 2 or 3 years to their board. And he don't have a board. So if you're not 2 or 3 years to your release, there's a lot of programs your mandatory programs, they won't even offer to you. He was lucky enough to get them because he's been inside a long time, and the rules that exist now didn't always exist. So the first one he started off with AVP, that's Alternative to Violence Project. He was a participant in that, and then he worked up through the ranks till he got to like an advanced participant, and then he became a facilitator trainee, and eventually he began training other facilitators to do the program. So like this is what, and now he's an ART facilitator, which stands for aggression replacement training. So like that's what he does all day. Like he's an anger management therapist. Like anytime I'm having issues, anytime my kids having issues, any of that, yeah, like we're going to him. That's like without visits right now, we're struggling. Like that's therapy. That's our therapy sessions,
Right,
like,
exactly.
on some real stuff though, like because like we can't even get mental health treatment out here. Like I live in upstate New York. The availability to treatment ain't out here. So like when I'm trying to get treatment for my son, I'll bring him on a visit before he'll ever even get to an appointment. And he's not 9 times out of 10, like fine, will get him through whatever the troubles are. Cause like they know each other. They could work together so well, like father and son could work together way better than any therapist and client could, So that's how we live. Like, and He's still got 13 years on the books. So not having visits like this is our life you're messing with, you know, this is our livelihood.
Yeah. Wow. So okay, and now you gave us a lot of great information. I wanted to know, what do you feel about the two bills that they're trying to pass, the elder care law and the other law?
Yeah, there's a
Oh my
lot of great
goodness.
legislation right now out. There's the Elder Parole Act and the Fair and Timely Parole Act. Those two are the two bills that RAP support, release aging people from prison. There's also HALT right now that just got onto Cuomo's desk. The Senate passed it and the Assembly passed it. Actually, today there was a big rally out at both at the mansion and at Cuomo's office downtown in Manhattan. And that's to HALT, that's for solitary confinement. That's for, you know, the box and all that. So if they pass that,
I'm for that.
Yeah, if they pass that, that would, I mean, even the United Nations has said anything more than 14 days in solitary confinement is torture. So if they passed the HALT solitary, that would make any box time down to 14 days. And then there would be all kinds of step down and therapeutic programs that go along with it. So we could really stop doing this damage that solitary confinement does to people. I've seen way too many people come out of prison way worse off mentally than they went in, you know, because of the because of the treatment they're given, plain and simple.
Right.
But so the other ones, Fair and Timely and Elder Parole, they're great bills. Fair and Timely, first and foremost, I think if Fair and Timely and HALT were to get passed together, they would just synergize each other, because, you know, like if HALT gets passed by itself, a lot of people are worried that people will just be wilding out in there, you know, acting crazy. But if it was to get passed with Fair and Timely, what Fair and Timely and Elder Parole both do is when a person gets a chance to go to the parole board, they value a person's rehabilitative path. They value a person's as they are today and not who they were on the day they committed their crime. It makes it so they can't continuously hit a person at the board for the nature of their crime, for just the different, especially, this is why I advocate for Fair and Timely so much, because it does what people think prison does already. Like people think people go to prison, when they go to the parole board, if they've done good or if they've had good behavior, they get released. That's not true. Like if you've had good behavior, even if you could be a model person in prison, you could be super responsible, not get a single ticket, you're there, still get hit with that 2 years. Or you could be a person in prison that did absolutely nothing for your rehabilitation, go to the board and they release you. There's no checks and balances with the system that exists right now. It's so unfair, and you see so many families languish in these prisons just for the nature of their crime, because they shot a cop in the hand, or a cop shot himself and you get charged with the assault because that's the criminal system we have. Like, and these systems they're twisted. They're twisted.
Wow, and that's deep. Wow.
But I support those bills. Fair and Timely and Elder Parole, they're great bills. There's also there's another bill out there right now, Less is More. Inside they call it the 30-30 bill.
Okay, and what's that?
Because it's that bill actually goes right after like the parole system. So like when a person comes out and is on parole, it makes it so they can't send you back to prison for technical violations. If you miss your parole check-in, if you get a dirty urine, if you what are some other like petty things that they violate people for, like being out after curfew, or like little petty things that most people really shouldn't be in prison for, something that's not illegal in the first place.
Right. Wow.
I just found that website for clemency and I put it in the chat.
Thank you. I see it came up.
I really think if the 3 bills that passed this year were HALT, fair and timely and less is more, it would change the carceral system vastly. Like it would enhance it so much, because it would change people not being sent back to prison for technical violations, not being in prison stuck in SHU the whole time, and actual valuing someone's rehabilitation when they go to the parole board. To have those three things happening at the same time, man, we could get a lot of people free. And
yes.
Out.
Yeah, and families reunited back together. Let me ask you a question. So how long have you actually served the time with your husband?
Well, we started when he went in, we were rocking steady. But having 50 years, I was 17 when he got arrested. I was 18 by the time he got sentenced and went upstate. So he was 25, 24, just turned 25 by the time he got sentenced. So we fell apart. Like he didn't want me to do that time with him, you know. Like I said, I was 18 years old. We didn't have no kids yet. Like things were simple back then. So he pushed me away hardcore. And we went our separate ways for a little while. But then in 2008, I was going through some hard times. I hit him up, and we stayed friends though for a long, long time, because we both were like funny about committing to each other, because we never wanted to have that, like, we never wanted nothing to come between us that we couldn't get over. So from 2008 to 2014, we were just kind of friends, like real close and all that. And then in 2014, we took it to the next level. We committed ourselves to each other. We got married in 2016.
Okay.
I've known him since I was 15 years old, you know, so.
Okay. Let me ask you, when you got married, did you get any backlash from your family, from your friends? What did people say?
You know, because they always knew him. They always knew me to like go visit him. They always knew me to be right into him. So like, they always made fun of me, you know, me and my jailbird. I got that all through growing up. Because like I always, like any man I was ever with, when him and I had split up or whatever, I would always compare them to him and all that. So they'd be like, "Oh, you're jailbird. We know nobody's better than your jailbird." And it was real hard to deal with, because like nobody looked at him like he was a regular person. Like it was like I had to justify why I cared about him. Like I always thought that was kind of twisted, but it did take me a while to like kind of not care about that. In 2000 and I want to say 13, I started seeing a lot of Facebook groups for families that dealing with the incarceration and prison and all that. And having social media and seeing people like just loud and proud, like my man's locked up and that's okay. Like it created like a comfortable, safe space for me and a lot of other people to just come out and be like, yeah, he's locked up, and like we love each other. We're madly in love with each other. We have a super healthy relationship. We're completely faithful to each other. And like people ask me all the time, like, why are you married to a man that's in prison? Like, why are you married? Answer that question. Why are you married? If it's for money, you're married for the wrong reason. If it's for what he could do for you, you're married for the wrong reason, or you're content with that kind of lifestyle. But I'm not. I'm the kind of person that married for love. I don't want you for nothing else.
Exactly. Wow. That is so, it's so funny, because I just started my journey with my husband. And to be honest, that's why I wrote my first series called I Am Not Defined by My Address. Because people always look at the person in prison like they are the worst person. Stop looking at his address. If it wasn't for his address, it would be another reason why they would, downplay what's your marriage or your relationship. I know I got it big time. Because first I didn't keep him a secret. I just didn't talk about it. I didn't want to hear, like you said, the backlash of, what are you doing? Why? What's first of all, I didn't come out looking to be in a relationship. I just went to support somebody who was getting married, and to be truthfully honest, it was fate that put us together, because I didn't even bring him down. I brought somebody else down. And
your story is, when you told me your story,
yes,
man,
it's the truth.
Kismet.
Yeah, it was just like fate. And when I saw him and we sat together for 3.5 hours before the correct person was coming downstairs to see me, who I brought down, it was over. I left. I said, I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to finish my conversation with my husband. But we honestly, I mean, it was just a connection. It's people don't understand. It's more intimacy. It's more you learning the person. It's nothing physical, because I have not been physical with him. There's no way possible. Right. So it's all about me and him getting to learn each other. Regular people, like playing, and they ask me all the time, well, what's the difference between him? I mean, every time I mention my husband, I smile. I don't.
Right, look at your face. That's what it is.
I mean, when he calls, when he writes me, I'm smiling, I'm glowing, but then I get oh, wait till he come out. It's gonna be different. Why would you even wish that for me? Why would you even put that in the atmosphere? I believe he's gonna be the same way. I'm gonna still, smile, laugh. And we still have, people don't understand, it's a regular relationship. You got to work at it. We argue, we fight. I don't give him his way. I don't just, just okay, because he knows I'm stubborn, he's stubborn. We argue, like I said, we argue and everything else. And we make up, and it's right back to me smiling, me blushing, I'm laughing or whatever. We live through emails and phones right now because we can't see each other. And I see my husband every day. Yeah. I see him every day because I work up there. So it's really hard, because for me, I suffer with depression, and he's my outlet. Like you said, your husband, he's my outlet. The minute I get there, I'm in my own bubble. We either playing Scrabble, we throwing popcorn at each other, we laughing, we joking, whatever it is. That's our time, and people really don't understand that. And I get a lot of people. My boys had a hard time with this. Yes. The littler one is fine. The oldest one still like whatever. He gonna get over it though, because I'm grown. I'm gonna be 53. And I'm happy, let me be happy. Let me be happy, and let me go through this my own self. And this, give me my blessings. Like I give you your blessings. I pray he get clemency. I want y'all to be together out in the free world. It's just it's so difficult and so hard. It's really hard. It's so hard.
What you mentioned that keeps touching me is that the intimacy. Ever since COVID, man, it changed something on that visit floor, though. Having to be 8 feet apart from each other, plus wearing a mask, can't play no cards, can't reach out and hold each other's hand, can't give each other fist bump when you just did something real slick.
No pictures, nothing.
So it does something with the intimacy. Him and I noticed that when we was on visits before, it makes it so cold, so clinical to be on a visit now. Yes. It's really, there's been a lot of families, let me tell you, a lot of families that are struggling or that haven't made it through this whole COVID. 8 months out of the last year, we haven't had no visits.
No, we haven't. And even when we did.
Like you visit every day. There was we had times in his incarceration that we weren't able to visit at all. There was a time that I was on probation and he was up in Clinton and I couldn't even leave the county. My officer was telling me that if I left the county, he was going to put me on an ankle bracelet. It was 18 months we couldn't visit. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy times.
And it's killing me. It's killing me.
But there was times we didn't have no car. I used to have to take the bus or catch a ride with somebody else. It was especially when you're upstate, he's been all over. He's been to Clinton, he's been to Auburn, and these places are out in the middle of nowhere. I live out in the middle of nowhere, and these places are desolate, especially Clinton.
Oh gosh, I've heard stories. I don't know yet.
And they don't do the biracial thing out there. They straight up told him when he got there, they seen pictures of me. Don't ever let her come up here. We'll beat the shit out of you.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
See? Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. Well, guys, you are here right now. I'm gonna just real quick give a recap. We are the Women of the Wall. We are live on Sadior Radio. Download that Sadior Radio app. We are also live on Facebook and Instagram. And later on, Mark, our engineer and the owner of Sadior Radio Station, will upload this broadcast to YouTube. So you can go over to Sadior Radio, hit that subscribe button, and hear our show. We are talking to none other than Miss Jolene Russ. She is our first guest, an amazing guest, an activist, a mom, and a wife to her husband that's in Sing Sing, and she's given us a lot of insight and a lot of information about clemency, about everything that she's done, that she stands for, and I hope that her family one day gets to be back together in the free world. If y'all have any questions, if you want to talk to us, you can call us at 646-249-0911 or email us at 2020thewall@gmail.com. And right now, we're about to take a music break. So, Jolene, please stay with us, because when we come back, we can talk some more. So, Mark, you can take it away.